As the new semester unfolded, Jungkook's life felt like it was balancing on the edge of a thin line. He was married to his professor Kim Taehyung, the man he had admired from afar for so long, but at university, things were complicated. They were in a secret marriage, a decision that had been made by Jungkook's father, who insisted that Jungkook finish his studies without the added pressure or judgment of their relationship becoming public knowledge. Tae agreed out of respect, but it didn't make things easier for him. It had been a whirlwind, marrying the man he thought would make everything fall into place, only to realize how much they both had to hide. For Tae, it was agonizing. Each day he saw Jungkook in his class, barely able to maintain the distance they needed. He had to sit there, facing Jungkook's questioning gaze, knowing he had to pretend their life together didn't exist during the hours he was on campus. Jungkook, however, was blissfully unaware of the reasoning behind their secrecy. To him, it seemed as though Tae was ashamed of their marriage. This insecurity grew over time, especially when he overheard Tae casually mention to a colleague that he was single. It wasn't supposed to hurt as much as it did, but hearing those words felt like a cold slap across his face. It all started that one afternoon in the faculty lounge when Jungkook passed by. Tae was in deep conversation with one of his colleagues, Professor Park, who was notorious for being nosy. Jungkook had just been leaving his class when he overheard them. "Tae, you're not seeing anyone, right?" one of the professors, Park, asked, her tone light and teasing. "A handsome guy like you must have women falling at your feet. I'm surprised you're still single. Are you really not seeing anyone?" she added, maintaining a teasing tone. "No, not really. Just focusing on my work." Tae's answer was immediate, almost reflexive. Tae's words hit Jungkook hard. He tried not to let it affect him, thinking there had to be some explanation. But as days passed, he found it increasingly difficult to hide the hurt. He started avoiding Tae, barely looking at him in class and making excuses to leave early. He couldn't shake off the feeling of betrayal, even if he couldn't pinpoint why it stung so much. The man who promised him forever had, in front of others, dismissed him entirely. Tae noticed Jungkook's distance almost immediately. He felt the icy silence, the way Jungkook's eyes would dart away the moment he tried to catch his gaze. It was driving him insane. He'd wait by the classroom door, hoping for some acknowledgement, but Jungkook simply walked past him each time. When he invited Jungkook over to his office to discuss his assignments, the younger declined with polite, stiff words. He did the same at home when Tae tries to get close to him. He is just ignoring Tae with all he has. With that, the distance between them grew wider with every passing day. Finally, one evening, Tae decided enough was enough. He will talk to Jungkook face to face. That evening, Jungkook was at home, his face buried in his books, but his thoughts were anything but focused. When he heard the front door open and close with a heavy sound, he didn't look up, trying to ignore Tae's presence once again. Tae strode into the room, eyes dark with a mixture of hurt and determination. "Jungkook, we need to talk," Tae said, his voice firmer than usual. Jungkook kept his gaze on his book, a hollow attempt to seem unaffected. "About what?" Professor Kim. Tae's jaw tightened. Enough of this, Jungkook. I'm not just your professor. I'm your husband. Stop pretending like that doesn't mean anything. Jungkook's fingers curled tightly around the edge of his book, but he didn't look up. Oh really? Then why don't you act like it? Jungkook shot back, his voice low but sharp. Because from where I am standing, it seems like I don't mean much to you at all. And isn't that what you want? To keep things professional, as if I don't exist outside the classroom. Tae took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. What are you talking about? You know that's not true. We're keeping this private for a reason. Yeah. Jungkook finally looked up, anger flashing in his eyes. And what's the reason, Tae? So you can pretend I don't exist at work. So you can tell people you're single. Jungkook's voice wavered, betraying the hurt he had tried so hard to bury. Tae's eyes widened in shock, and then they softened with realization. He took a step forward, his hands outstretched. Jungkook, it's not like that. You know I. No. Jungkook interrupted, his voice cracking. I heard you. You said you're not seeing anyone, which means you're single, still available for them, Tae. You were standing right there, laughing with your colleagues, saying you're just focusing on your work. Do you have any idea how that felt? Realization dawned on Tae's face. He raked a hand through his hair, sighing deeply. Jungkook, it's complicated. You know we have to keep our marriage secret until you graduate. Oh yeah, right. So I'm just some stupid secret you're hiding. Am I supposed to accept that without question? Jungkook replied, his voice trembling. Tae's eyes darkened. A rare spark of irritation flaring within him. Don't twist my words, Jungkook. You know it's not like that. Then what is it like, Tae? Because from where I am standing, it feels like you're embarrassed of me. Jungkook's voice cracked, the hurt finally seeping through. In one swift motion, Tae crossed the room, closing the distance between them. He cupped Jungkook's face, forcing their eyes to meet. Do you really believe that, Jungkook? After everything we've been through? Jungkook's breath hitched, but he didn't break his gaze. Then why don't you say it? Why don't you ever acknowledge me? If you cared, you'd. Jungkook's words were cut off as Tae's lips crashed onto his. It was not a gentle kiss, nor was it sweet. It was deep, harsh, filled with frustration, pent-up longing, and a desperate need to make Jungkook understand. Jungkook's hands instinctively pushed against Tae's chest, but Tae only deepened the kiss, his grip firm yet careful. The intensity of Tae's kiss left Jungkook breathless, stealing every angry thought from his mind. Tae's hand slid down to Jungkook's waist, pulling him closer, as if proximity alone could erase every misunderstanding. Jungkook tried to resist, but the fire in Tae's touch weakened his resolve. He found himself melting into the embrace, feeling Tae's fingers curl possessively around his. Breaking the kiss, Tae's gaze softened as he studied Jungkook's flushed face. I've never been ashamed of you, Jungkook. If anything, I'm proud every single day that you're mine. Tae said, his voice deep with emotions. Then why? Jungkook whispered, his voice trembling with the remnants of his hurt. Because your father asked me to. He wanted you to finish your studies without the burden of judgment. I thought it was best for you. But trust me, keeping this hidden has been just as painful for me as it has for you. Tae admitted, his tone gentle. Jungkook's shoulders sagged as the weight of his misunderstanding lifted. I didn't know that. Jungkook whispered, guilt pooling in his gaze. Tae pulled him closer, resting his forehead against Jungkook's. I'd never choose to hide you, Jungkook. I need you to know that. When the time comes, I'll shout to the world that you're mine. The quiet intensity in Tae's voice sent a shiver down Jungkook's spine. The tension between them softened, but the warmth of their embrace only grew hotter. Tae's fingers traced gentle patterns along Jungkook's sides, a silent apology and promise in each movement. Jungkook looked up at him, his eyes soft and vulnerable. I'm sorry, Tae. I misunderstand you. While you are just protecting me, Jungkook said in a crying tone. Don't ever ignore me again. It's hurt me a lot. Tae whispered, his voice thick with emotions. With a renewed intensity, Tae's lips found Jungkook's once more. This time, it was gentler, slower, but no less passionate. He kissed Jungkook deeply, pouring every unspoken feeling into each touch, each caress. Jungkook's hands found their way to Tae's neck, pulling him closer, as though afraid he might disappear. The kiss lingered, stretching into something beyond words. They lost themselves in that kiss, the world fading away until it was just the two of them, cocooned in the warmth of each other's presence. The initial fire softened into something deeper, more tender, as if they were rediscovering the connection they'd nearly lost in silence and misunderstandings. Tae's hands gently traced along Jungkook's jawline, his thumbs brushing against his cheeks as if grounding him. The look in Tae's eyes was soft yet intense, his gaze scanning every inch of Jungkook's face. I've missed this. I miss you. Tae murmured, his voice barely above a whisper, yet heavy with feeling. Jungkook's heart swelled, the walls he'd built up over the past few weeks crumbling. I was scared, Tae. I thought I was just someone you'd rather keep hidden. Tae's eyes softened further, his fingers curling around Jungkook's hand. You're not just someone, Jungkook. You're everything. Tae replied, his voice thick with emotion. Jungkook looked down, the weight of those words settling warmly in his chest. Then promise me that when the time comes, you'll let them know. I don't want to hide us forever. I promise. Tae said without hesitation, pressing a soft kiss to the back of Jungkook's hand. He tilted Jungkook's chin up, their eyes meeting once more. For now, I'll hold on to you as much as I can. Even if we have to keep things quiet, I want you to know, you are my heart. Jungkook felt a rush of warmth spread through him, dispelling the last remnants of doubt. He reached up, brushing his fingers through Tae's hair, savoring the quiet intimacy between them. Then have me tonight. As much as you want. Jungkook whispered, his voice shy but filled with yearning. Without another word, Tae leaned forward, capturing Jungkook's lips in a kiss so tender it made Jungkook's heart ache. The kiss deepened, growing in intensity, as if they were both trying to make up for all the days they'd missed. Slowly, they moved toward the couch, Tae guiding Jungkook down gently. His hands trailed up Jungkook's arms, pulling him closer until their bodies were flushed together. Jungkook wrapped his arms around Tae's neck, melting into the kiss, the warmth of Tae's touch banishing every ounce of doubt that had haunted him. As Tae's hands explored, they held an unspoken promise, each touch a reassurance that Jungkook was cherished, seen, and loved. There was no rush between them now, only a slow, intoxicating closeness. Tae's lips traveled to Jungkook's neck, planting soft kisses along his collarbone, his breath warm against Jungkook's skin. Jungkook closed his eyes, surrendering to the gentle but undeniable intensity between them. "Tae," Jungkook whispered, voice full of trust and need, his hands clutching onto Tae as if he were his anchor. Tae's gaze softened at the sound of his name, his fingers lacing with Jungkook's as he looked down at him, their foreheads resting together. "I love you, Jungkook. No matter where we are or who's watching, you'll always be mine," Tae murmured, his voice filled with reverence. Jungkook's eyes glistened, the sincerity in Tae's words filling him with a joy he hadn't realized he'd needed. He nodded, a tear slipping down his cheek that Tae gently wiped away. "I love you too, Tae. And you are mine. I don't want to doubt that anymore." Saying this, Jungkook pulled Tae more closer, and both get lost into their pure unbreakable love. The end. Thanks for watching, puffballs. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and share. Also subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to never miss any updates.